Welcome to the End Times Bible Study. It is, as always, an honor and a pleasure to have you joining me. Tonight, before I get into these scriptures, we're in Revelation chapter 4. A piece of interesting news. For the first time since 1957, Russian jets entered South Korean airspace, 2 bombers and another plane. The South Koreans scrambled jets in response and fired warning rounds. And during all of this, the Russians left the airspace and returned minutes later, seemingly playing a game of cat and mouse. And 2 Chinese warplanes joined in alongside the Russians at one point. Wars and rumors of wars is one of the signs of the end times. And it's very troubling to see Russia and China aligning like that against a U.S. ally. It certainly feels like things are escalating. The trade war between China and the United States, the war between Pakistan and India, North Korea being its usual blustering, obnoxious self, Iran constantly trying to poke and prod and escalate tensions around the world. It just seems like there is a tension building and building, not only on the war front, but on the economic front, on the front concerning the worldwide food supply, the tech giants buying up everything in sight. Things are changing so rapidly. We could just talk about news, and every single day there would be a whole laundry list of new things, new current events driving us closer and closer to the end. I wanted you to be aware of that. And I also wanted to say this is such an important time to be near to Jesus Christ, not just to know about him, not just to study things concerning him, but to know him personally. And the good news is that he stands at the door and knocks for each one of us. He desires to be in a relationship with us. It's not just that he has saved us, it's that he desires a relationship with us. He has paid the price so that there could be peace between us. And there's something wrong with us. There really is. In 5,500 years of recorded history, we only have 40 years in that entire time where there hasn't been a war. And there is clearly something wrong with us. If God was to bring everyone to heaven who thinks they're going to heaven, you know what would happen? It wouldn't be heaven anymore, because we would be there. How long before a fight broke out, or a couple snuck off somewhere private, or something was stolen, or you looked at your neighbor's mansion and you know he's a hypocrite and a good for nothing and probably a closet alcoholic, and he's got a bigger mansion, wouldn't the injustice of it all drive you to gossip a little bit? It wouldn't be heaven anymore, because we would be there. Heaven would need a police force. It would need ambulances, prisons, courthouses, all because of us. Jesus came to fix that. He knows that we're broken, and he doesn't reject us because of that. All he's saying is, I can fix that if you'll let me. And that's what the gospel is. It's Jesus fixing us if we'll only believe. The great question of the ages, is God a liar? You see, Adam and Eve trusted God. They believed what God said was true until the serpent came along and said something different. They decided God probably wasn't telling the truth about that tree, and they sided with Satan. Now Jesus is coming and saying, look, I've paid the price. You can have righteousness. You can have salvation. You can have love. You can have joy. You can have peace. I'm not promising you a perfect life by any means, but I am promising you that I will transform you. I will make you into one of my children. And that's the work of the gospel inside of us, conforming us to the image of Jesus Christ, purifying us, refining us, changing us over time so that we are more and more like Jesus Christ. And anyone has free access to this. It's called the conversion. It's called um, your moment, your personal moment with Jesus Christ. You have to go and meet him at the gate. Just humble your heart and be real. You have to have faith. You have to believe that he is Lord. The gospel is very simple. It's not complicated or hard to understand. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you will be saved. There's no riddle. There's nothing to figure out. You simply have to believe that God is telling the truth. It's simple enough that the most illiterate, backwards, low IQ thinker can grasp this. Confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord. Believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, and you will be saved. And I'm not saying you will have to go into a bunch of learning and training to understand everything. It's the power of God will come into your life and begin to work and change you. This is the good news. So we're beginning tonight in Revelation chapter 4. We're reading verses 1 to 4 tonight, and it's just a glimpse, just a peek into heaven. After those things I looked, and behold, the doors standing open in heaven, and the first voice which I had heard, like the sound of a trumpet, speaking with me, said, "Come up here, and I will show you what must take place after these things." Immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was standing in heaven, and one sitting on the throne. And he who was sitting was like a jasper stone and a sardius in appearance. And there was a rainbow around the throne, like an emerald in appearance. Around the throne were 24 thrones, and upon the thrones I saw 24 elders sitting clothed in white garments and golden crowns on their heads. What a marvelous sight. And these are John's words. John is trying to describe to you what he's seeing. And I can only imagine that it just exceeds words a million miles. Well, especially we're reading English here, translated from Koine Greek. It's a copy of a copy, if you will, where we just lose so much in translation. For us to actually see this would bring tears to the eyes. It would bring us to our knees. A tremendous, tremendous sight. I like in verse 2, immediately I was in the Spirit. Suddenly, instantly, I was in the Spirit, meaning he wasn't flesh and blood. He was actually in the spiritual form looking on these things. And in verse 3, he who was sitting was like a jasper stone and a sardius in appearance. A jasper stone is pretty much the color of blood, but it has a grain to it like marble running through it. It's a breathtakingly beautiful stone, but it is about the color of blood. And a sardius is more of a bronze color. Bronze is a very good way to describe that color. Maroon and bronze. What is he seeing? Is this skin color? Is it a garment? Is it a light that radiates from the throne? I can't imagine. And we know that no flesh has looked upon God, looked upon the face of God. Moses did see God's back, and it turned his hair white and his face shone afterwards, but no one has looked upon the face of God. So what exactly is he seeing here? I can't wait to get there. I really can't wait to put away the flesh and the hardships, the hang-ups, the problems, the stress, the grief, the trouble, and step through into that eternal and wonderful kingdom where we will know no more suffering, no more misery or sickness or sadness or despair or debt or any of it. It's all done away with. All our fears about tomorrow, about paying the bills, looking after the problems, taking care of those things. I just can't wait. And verse 4, around the throne were 24 thrones, and upon the thrones I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white garments and golden crowns on their heads. And we know that when they worship the Lord, they cast those crowns off their heads down at the feet of the Lord. I like to kind of imagine who the 24 are. You know, John the Baptist was one of the greatest among men. Is one of those thrones his? What about Elijah caught up to heaven? Um, who else would be sitting on those thrones? It just very interesting. I'm sure Joseph is a likely candidate. You know, there are very few people written in scriptures that no sin was accounted to them. Daniel was one, Joseph was one, but there are very few that we read about, and their sins aren't also mentioned, like Noah getting off the boat, planting a vineyard, making some wine, and getting fallen down drunk. So the Bible doesn't hide stuff. There's no secrets. It's the only history book on the planet where all the dirty laundry is there for us to read. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. God bless you.